I know I complained about stasis yesterday, but hey, I made a stasis build anyways, and it's on the Revenant Hunter, baby, and it's using my main point, the harvest aspect. So, we're going to be using Renewal Grasp with Touch of Winter and Grim Harvest to make a build to give us Frost Armor all the time, and, make enemies do less damage to us. Just stating up front, this is not the greatest build ever made. If you want a way better Hunter build, either use Golden Gun or Prismatic. So Gunslinger or Prismatic. But those subclasses are way better, and using Still Hunt is very advised, especially Celestial Nighthawk, and it'll still be really good after the nerf. So there's that. If you're looking for something to use in the hardest content in the game, this ain't it, bro. But with that out of the way, let's just get into the build. Touch of Winter, Grim Harvest, those are your aspects. They're going to give us 5 fragment slots to use. Dusk Fields are larger. We get stasis shards, which means a lot more melees, stuff like that. Of course, Whisper of Fissures is very important here, as it is with every stasis build, because shatter damage is most of your damage on stasis. So boosting shatter damage is of the utmost importance. Whisper of Durance to make our Dusk Fields last longer, so us and our allies can get Frost Armor longer, and enemies deal less damage for longer periods of time. Also, Sacks of Slow last longer too. Next up, Whisper of Shards. When we break a stasis crystal, we get grenade energy. And when we throw our Duskfield grenades, it makes a crystal when you use Touch of Winter. It makes an even larger crystal if you're using Renewal Grasp too. So you get a large stasis crystal that you can break to get faster grenade energy recharge. Next, Whisper of Rime. That'll up our stacks of Frost Armor to 8, which will up our resistance to be higher. And that's nice. Next up, Whisper of Conduction. That'll make our shards come to us, which opens up a lot of doors for us, okay? Mainly, we don't have to run to them. So yes, this build is centered around stasis shards, which, of course, give you melee energy. And speaking of energy, if you're low on it, you should go to Advanced GG and order yourself a jar or two. Especially if you use my link and my code. That'll give me some money. But yeah, I've been using Advanced GG for years, so there's a little promo. Go get yourself some Advanced GG energy or focus, hydration, whatever sounds good to you. They in the past week or two, they've released 5 new flavors. Go check those out. Love Advanced GG. Thank you to those guys. Give me money. Anyways, with that shameless stuff out of the way, let's get into the rest of the build. So for your primary, I recommend Stasis, mainly to use something with Demo and Headstone, which is not a very common combination of perks. Horror Story has it. Festival of the Lost Auto Rifle, if you have the newest one. That is a perk roll it can have. But, you can't always get that. Like right now, this episode, you will not be able to attain Horror Story. But, with the final shape, we got a new 2-round burst hand cannon called Bold Endings, which does have that roll. So that might be something you look into, is Bold Endings with Demolitionist Headstone. And of course, also that Origin trait will get you your super faster, which Revenant super isn't too bad, It does suppress entire rooms easily, which is very nice. But also, you have the artifact, which is buffing weapons with that Origin trait right now, so that might be worth grabbing. Next up, I went with a Rocket Sidearm. They're just good, Deconstruction on Indebted Kindness. Deconstruction breaks stasis crystals super easy, especially on Indebted Kindness. So, it's just nice to have. Reason I said Demo Headstone is if you break a stasis crystal from a Demolitionist weapon with a Demolitionist weapon, you do get the increased grenade energy from that. But, if you throw the Dusk Field at enemies, you can shoot it with Indebted Kindness, Deconstruction procs, and it breaks it in one shot super easy. If that's something you really care about. your primary will probably take care of it just fine. So this is just kind of like a, if you want to, it's kind of more situational. Heavy weapon, I was using Leviathan's Breath quite a bit. You can kind of use whatever you want. With this build, honestly, swords might not be a bad option. So if you have a good falling guillotine, that might be a solid pick. Maybe, probably not Cold Steel. Cold Steel really isn't that good. But if you have a good roll on the Slammer or Zephyr, Cold Steel might be worth looking at. But Falling Guillotine's probably a better bet. Or Bequest, you know, things like that. As far as artifact mods go, kind of depends on what you're using as your primary. Honestly, all your weapons. But, you know, what's more important, the main 2 artifact mods you probably need for this build to, like, actually pop off: Creeping Chill and Shield Crush. Alright, Creeping Chill, you know, you make stasis little puffs of stasis slowing whenever you kill an enemy that's affected by the stasis debuffs. And then Shield Crush, whenever you have frost armor, you get grenade energy faster, which is very nice. Now, when it comes to armor mods, again, we're using Renewal Grasp. There's not that many that like super matter, but heavy-handed is gonna be excellent here. You know, you got 2 charges of your melee, you might as well be making orbs off of them. Stasis Siphon, of course, will help too. And then Impact Induction, so whenever you hit something with a melee, you get grenade energy. And you have 2 melees. And if you're using Gambler's Dodge, that's a 3rd charge of melees that charge pretty quick, on top of shards, giving us that energy back too. So you can throw 2, you'll probably get some shards. That'll help fill up the 3rd. You dodge, throw another one. Maybe some enemies were frozen or whatever. Enemies are low now. You throw the 3rd one, probably gets more kills. Collect more shards, you probably have a 4th now. Maybe. But yeah, you'll also be charging up your grenade that way. So, you know, as it is, stasis shards do not give grenade energy. If you're using Impact Induction and heavy-handed on Stasis Hunter, it might as well. Next up, in your boots, please use Recuperation. You know, chest piece, of course, go with your resistance mods. That will help you survive. But Recuperation in the boots is one of the best mods in the game, in my opinion. You pick up an Orb of Power, you're healed, you know? And you're with heavy-handed on Stasis Hunter, you can pretty easily make those orbs. On top of that, Stasis Siphon, you know, you pop a like you get a precision kill, you break the headstone, that counts as a weapon kill. So you make Stasis Orb, or Orb of Power, that you can pick up and heal with Recuperation. The only problem would be getting there, but, you know, throw Dusk Field on the enemies, they deal less damage, they're getting slowed, they're getting frozen, and when you go in there, you get Frost Armor. And then, you know, if you want to use Innervation, which I was using in the video gameplay, that'll give you more grenade energy whenever you pick up an orb. Elemental Charge might be better, you know? You pick up Stasis Shards, gives you armor charge, which you could turn into one of your surges. So if you want a surge based off of your heavy weapon to make it deal more damage, or if you want a stasis surge for your primary to deal more damage, you could play that however you want to. But overall, that's just kind of this build. Go play with Revenant a little bit. It's pretty fun. I would say post Prismatic Existing and all that, of the 3 stasis subclasses, Hunter got off the best. Warlock, it's definitely not worse. It's probably better than it was. The only issue is Prismatic Warlock is, in my opinion, a lot better at doing Shadebinder's job, because you can still use Osmiomancy with it, and you have Devour, which gives you grenade energy on kill, and Devour, you know, heals you, so you have survivability. And then Behemoth was bad, still is just as bad as it was. And that's about it for Titan Stasis. Hunter Stasis, it's kind of better. You know, I've always been a Grim Harvest user on Stasis Hunter. I've enjoyed Renewal Grass builds for a while, and this really did help it out a lot, I think. Anyways, yeah, that's about it for this build. Again, super hard content, don't use it. Just don't. Go ahead and you still hunt Celestial Nighthawk. It's a much better build. Plus, it puts you on a subclass with better survivability. Whether you decide to go solar or you go prismatic, either way, you have more survivability than Stasis ever has or likely ever will. But yeah, no, this is a fun build. Go try it out. Subscribe to this channel. Like, comment, maybe tell me what kind of builds you're using. Mostly fun builds. I feel like covering the best builds in the game gets kind of boring because there's like only ever like 2 or 3 at a time and everyone's already done it. So I'm just doing goof off stuff, Oh yeah, also, maybe check out channel memberships and Advanced GG. There should be a link for Advanced GG in the pinned comment down below and probably in the description too. So yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.